Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're talking Bitcoin, talking the price action, what we think is going on, what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in a Discord, you're missing a trick guys. It's a completely fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Go ahead and check it out. Link is in the description down below. Guys, let's get into this. Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, we're looking at some pretty interesting volatility here today with BTC. And, we've got our kind of higher range expectations as well. So there's a few things to kind of be thinking about and what we think might be occurring next. Okay, so let's actually talk around this little move here. So yesterday we had this little range. Basically, we're talking about 20,550 through to 20,500 and 20,653, right? So this little yellow box area. We came down, we bounced from it, we came back down, liquidated any longs, then we went long, took some good kind of movement to the upside, and now we're retracing. Okay, so we're seeing some pretty volatile movements. Let's go break this down, right? We were tracking 5 waves up at one point. So this was looking 1, 2, 3, down for 4, then up for 5. Okay, but however, we've crossed down here 20,593. That's this dashed line that runs through this yellow box. Okay, this wick high here. So crossing this area basically prevents that from being a fourth wave. Fourth wave can't cross wave 1 unless it's a leading diagonal. Okay, now I'm not looking at this like a leading diagonal structure, at least not yet, but we'll see how things kind of play out. So at the moment, I'm looking at this as a potential A, B, and C structure like this. Okay, so we're looking for volatility, we're seeing it, and we're waiting to see if we're going to get reversal. Now, the obvious is that the stochastic RSI on this hourly chart is quite high after progressing up quite a bit. So we're seeing and have to see this come down a little ways, and we're going to close this candle in the next 4 minutes or so. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where it lands, and whether the stochastic RSI is going to move down rapidly with it or not. Okay, now we are, of course, if I just take a look at this one over here, oversold on the 4-hour and oversold on the 8-hour. So these actually have good progression to the upside. Okay, so this volatility I think is temporary. It's only really going to be on the smaller time frames, in my opinion. Now, we are overbought, of course, on the daily, on the macro, but I don't think we can really pull back down on that daily chart until we see the momentum on the 8-hour really progress to the upside. You can see that we're really pushing down quite a bit here with Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and see if we can find some areas of interest. Okay, where are we thinking that things are going? So let's go ahead and take a look, right? Because I do think there's some areas right in here. Let me just zoom right out a little ways here. Because I do think it's right approximately around here, actually. It's not too bad. I mean, I'll put it a little bit higher if I'm being brutally honest. That's an interesting area right here. So I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna see how that one runs and see where we end up, right? So this is the interesting zone right there. Now we did wick a little bit lower than that. I'll just break this up. Let me just explain why I've chosen this area. So basically, we have these wicks here coming into this area as a good area of support. Also down at the bottom end here and over here. And also the fact that we were failing to close above this area once we were previously support. We broke it, we went up, failed, and then we broke through afterwards. Okay, so it makes this a really interesting zone. Over this side, you can see that we came down into this multiple times already and then come back out. So again, this seems to be an area of demand. Okay, so this is an area where buyers are likely to be. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But as I said, that stochastic RSI on this hourly chart is high, and this could basically bring us down quite a bit. Now, I do have a long position on Bitcoin. Might have to reconsider that soon. It will depend on how things go in the next few hours. But for now, this looks pretty interesting. Now, I'm tracking this as a 3-wave structured point down here, a little bit lower than our expected range within here, right? We can see we bounced from it, then we came back down a little bit lower, went long. Now, here it looks like we are 3 waves at the moment. So we go up here in 1, 2, and 3 like this. And it does look like we're doing something very similar to the downside. Now, this could potentially be a head and shoulder pattern. playing out, a bit strange one, but nonetheless, you might be seeing something like this maybe occur and then break down from there, possibly, but I don't think that's really likely to occur. Could be a bit of a trick. But also down here, the supply looks like 3 at the moment, but again, just like we had before, this would now potentially turn into 5. Okay, so it could be 5 going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like so. Okay, so things are going to be interesting from that kind of point of view. Now, on a bigger scale, as long as we don't cross this low point over here, so 20,427, as long as we stay above this level, I would also be inclined to think that maybe we are actually 3 waves like this, and all this wick is doing is liquidating those long positions before they actually move the price upwards. Now, as I kind of zoom out even further, you can kind of see that all we're doing here is potentially a bit of a corrective action of a bigger move anyway. And so we take this move up, we pull this down, we move up again. Our target for that is $21,530 to the penny. Okay, and that would basically look like this. It would be a giant A, B, and C structure. This is what I think is going on, but the micro volatility here is basically just trying to liquidate people before they have that run to the upside. Now, this is a pretty big wick to the downside, so there's definitely some selling pressure there. But I want to be a little bit cautious, and if I have to close out of my long position, I will, because it doesn't make sense to be in something if it's not going to be fruitful. But I do think that there is potential to the upside here, specifically on the 4 and 8 hour charts. It's just the 1 hour isn't really playing ball right at this moment in time. So there's some clear targets, some clear things to be thinking about, specifically here when it comes to, there you go, so it's just crossed it now. Okay, cool. So that's completely invalidated that 3-wave structural move upwards, which means that we can now assess this as a slightly different area. It crossed my 390. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead now and reflect on this maybe being a bit deeper. So if this is going to come down, where's it going? Okay, so if we're going to do that, we're going to pull this across. We're going to see this coming down to 20,196 approximately. Let's see how bad of a tank this ends up going. It could be pretty big. We'll see. Let's go ahead and draw this in. 1, 2, and 3 coming down. Okay, so we'd look at this as a 5-wave drop here then. You'd have to look at this as a 5-wave drop at this point. Gone past the 786, going down, finding some pressure here. So it's gone completely through here, still tanking. Where's the next area of support really coming in? It's definitely something around this low area here. It's actually between the 88.2 and the 1-to-1 ratio down here. So starting to see some pressure coming in. Let's see, where are we going to find the most amount of sense? Yeah, it's approximately here. Let's see if we can make sense of that and then jump back into what's going on with the price action right there. I think this area right in here would be a pretty sweet area. You can see that we're pushing up. I would still expect this, even though we're getting a bit of green, I would still expect this to be a move to the downside a little bit more. I wouldn't expect this to go straight up, but again, this market is so volatile. There's a lot of people getting liquidated all over the place here. So just kind of keep an eye on this as a potential structural move like that, bringing us back down into this yellow box range. This would put us at 20,170 and 20,249. Okay, now we're getting close to kind of thinking about the 20,000 little level. I'll keep an eye on that. And again, if this is going to end in 5, it makes it 335, and that would actually then give us a really good point to think about moving upwards. But with that, we'd also have to adjust our higher range target as well. So yeah, interesting kind of developments there, and I did it live. It doesn't really happen very often, but it's interesting. So yeah, looking pretty good on this. Glad I moved my stop loss this morning ever so slightly, but we'll see if that's worth coming out of or not. I do think, though, this is just going to be 335. We complete down here. I'm happy to hold it. If we lose this local low down here, I think it won't be worth holding. So coming out, if you drop any lower than $20,000 in that long, would probably be a wise idea. And I'll just take the L on that if I need to. But for now, looking pretty good. I do think that this is now a lot clearer after that recent move. That makes it 335. We pull back down. Let me just go ahead and remove this off. And if we go ahead and analyze this drop right in here, Actually, no, the other way around. Let's go for the long. Let's take it from the long position. We slowed down a bit now. Let's go ahead and take the lower range of this yellow box. It would put us right here on my $21,266 targeted range, which I already had scoped out as the lower range of our fifth wave move. So, for example, as you can see, we've got this orange dash line across here. This is my expectation on the lower side of our fifth wave high point, which would put us right here on that 1.236 at 21,268. That would be where I would have that one kind of thinking about it. So that C wave would be a little bit shorter. And we'd be done there. But again, we're not following good practice on that fifth wave anyway. But for the most part, really, really interesting stuff. And I do think we are getting some progression here with Bitcoin. The chest check, we've come there. This is nice. So our stochastic RSI on the hourly, very, very nicely corrected here. And this is going to be a pretty big movement to the upside once we are fully corrected, in my opinion. So wouldn't be too surprised if we push up there nicely overall. But of course, you know, as I say, zoom out and we can obviously take a look at the much bigger bearish situation. But for now, on the shorter time frames, looking good. I'm not too concerned about that drop. It makes sense when you start thinking about liquidations and all that wonderful stuff. I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. And if you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications. And in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.